What is going on, guys? This is Dealer here, back again with yet another RDX podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. We're back after a week off. It was the Christmas for many of us and holidays for many others, and we do appreciate you guys rocking out with us. The first of the year, first podcast of the year, and we return with a stellar panel. Though Noof is having some audio issues, hopefully he can jump in here and all that stuff sorted out. I'm a little bit sick, under the weather. I'm going to hand it off to Colt Eastwood for his intro real quick. What have you been up to, bud?
Doing some repairs. I just fixed my PS4, so I'm pretty excited. That was like super easy. And I've played so many games. I'm ready to go back to work after Christmas break.
We've also got So Shady Buzz. Good to be live again.
It is good to be live here on January 1st, a national holiday up here in Canada. I got to let you know. I mean, after making a promise to you that I wouldn't go swimming in Liquor Lake or climbing this giant mountain of illicit narcotics, I mean, I'm here. It was a long night. I was up all night gaming nonetheless. So it is a morning show for me today, but I'm glad to be back. Let's get into it.
Good to hear. We've also got D-Batch, brother. What have you been up to?
Oh, nothing much, man. Enjoying the new year, just relaxing, trying to get through some of these games, man. And I'm excited to touch on the topics that we got today, man. Did you guys have a good new year?
Yeah, I mean, it was another year. We're already in 2019. Time flies, people. We've also got Zalker, bud. What have you been up to?
A lot, man. Playing a bunch of games, making videos. Been having a great time, man. This community is awesome. It's great to start the new year with you guys, and I'm looking forward to what we have in store with Xbox and everything. It's going to be exciting, especially during E3 and all the stuff. I'm just excited for 2019.
And Noof, did you sort your mic out, or did it burst into flames? What's going on? Option B. Okay. Well, hopefully we can get Noof in here and get his stuff working right. I don't know what's going on there, but if not, everybody say hi to Noof. He might drop out because his mic's so messed up. I don't know what's going on, but we also got to give a shout out to our patron sponsors real quick, and that's first and foremost the guys power the show, Captain Redbeard Arg. We've also got Lethal Papa, Darj Knight. We've also got we've also got Prime Suspect, Michael Bowen. We've got Channing Pennington, Guillermo Cavillo, and we've got Robert Prather. You guys are the real fucking deal. We've also got a birthday shout out to Nicola, and this was a request thanks to Sturrockstar11. Just wanted to say hello and happy birthday to Nicola as we get into the first subject, the topic of the day, the topic of the last 12 hours for some. Super Lucky Stale leaked for the Switch. What the hell is going on? Anybody know?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. I think with a lot of these exclusive games, if they started maybe showing up on some other platforms after a year or so of being out, they would see a lot more sales, make more money, and that would mean more games. So I think this could be the start of something for the future with a lot of different titles, and with Nintendo and Xbox kind of being a little bit more buddy-buddy, let's say, than Xbox and PlayStation over the last little while. It's not too big of a surprise, especially with a game like Lucky Tale. It's right up Nintendo's alley.
Well, here's how it hit the web. It's a developer's LinkedIn page where he did list his work on Super Lucky Tales for the Nintendo Switch. Now, either this port hasn't hit yet, or that was some kind of mistake. Zucker, what do you think the odds are that that's a mistake on LinkedIn?
Not
very high, huh?
And it's not. I mean, if he's putting it on LinkedIn, that's kind of like your professional resume. If you fuck up on that, people are going to be like, we're not going to hire you. So if he messed up on that, he's kind of an idiot, to be honest. So I don't know if it's going to be going there. It doesn't look like it's going to. I mean, a couple people are just running with this, and because it does fit, like Shady said, that Nintendo mantra of what kind of game they like, and it'll fit perfectly, to be honest, in that kind of environment. But I don't think it's going there. And if it does, then holy shit.
Now, before we get some people freaking out, Microsoft are putting their games on Nintendo Switch already. See, I told you, just like Minecraft. Well, Minecraft was already on everything. They bought that studio and left it. They're not going to rip it off of platforms, right? Nobody would do that. But Microsoft don't own Playful, the studio who made Super Lucky Tale. So that's a just like kind of like Dead Rising 4. It's kind of a second party deal or third party deal where they're allowed to bring that to a different platform in the future. And Colt, does this kind of surprise you at all?
I was just about to say, just typing in the chat, I didn't like Super Lucky Tale. I thought maybe it would kind of give you that Super Mario Brothers feel, and I just didn't enjoy it at all. I didn't think it was I can see why it got a low score. It just wasn't enjoyable for me. So yeah, it actually surprised me if it goes to Switch. It just doesn't seem like it's supposed to be a multi-platform game, but whatever.
D, is there any should people be celebrating breakdancing in the street, high-fiving each other's ball stacks for this?
No, not really. But at the same time, I could see the Nintendo crowd embracing this type of game. Like you were saying, it is a second, third party kind of game. It originated on Steam actually as a VR game, and it was retooled on the Xbox, as a platformer. But it really had its roots as a VR game. So I'm not surprised to see it, move its way on over to the Switch. And to be honest with you, financially, I think it would make sense for them to do it. So it's not a big deal. It wasn't a great game anyways. Yeah. And you know what? Even if they do get it, they get it long after, Xbox users were able to play it. So
yeah, and apparently it's not just one person's LinkedIn, it's 2 LinkedIn profiles that are saying that they worked on it for the port to the Switch.
Damn you, LinkedIn. So what do you think's holding Nintendo back, or Microsoft kind of got the detonator and they're like, well, we don't know if or when we want to drop this on Switch. What do you think they're waiting on, Zonker?
To be honest with you, probably just the year and developing it, maybe forming a relationship with Nintendo. That's something that I think that they're trying to do. I mean, they've been, like Shady said, buddy with Nintendo for a little while now. And maybe these are just one of the games that they're kind of like, yeah, we don't really care. It's a second party deal. Maybe we can throw it out there to get a couple more dollars in our pocket, which why wouldn't they? I mean, sales for the Switch, especially the games, have been skyrocketing. Yeah. So I think the developer that created it is looking at that and going, hey, maybe we can do something about this. And if Microsoft's looking to buy them, maybe that's a goodwill thing, or who knows, or maybe they're not looking to get them. We just don't know, to be honest, especially if it's 2 LinkedIn profiles now. It's looking like maybe they have worked on it and it might go there or it might not.
Hey, also Viking Norm, he says that, hey, he tried to like it, even pre-ordered it for some reason, fucking fraud, but he just couldn't bring himself to like it, man. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. I ended up playing that game, and it's I don't think it's particularly bad because I don't play many of those types of games. I don't know what would make that a bad platformer, for example, right? But from what I played, it ran nicely. It seemed like kids will like it, but everyone tells me that their kids don't like it, and that's kind of the curse of Super Lucky's Tale.
It felt like more of a collectathon. There was very little challenge or innovation in platforming. Like you play Mario and there's a lot of hidden gems and secrets everywhere. It's fun. You can make your own fun in that. Whereas I found Lucky Tale was very by the numbers. It did play well. It ran well. It even looked pretty good. But I just thought it was so by the numbers myself.
Salty in the chat says it's bad. Yeah. So, hey, I also forgot I got some codes to give out for some Xbox money, some Xbox moolah to help you guys maybe buy a game or two on sale here. We're gonna give out a couple different codes
on sale.
Yeah, there's a ton, like what, 800 games. So I'm gonna call on Lethal.
The weekly ones, yeah, it's nuts.
I'm gonna call on Lethal randomly here in a little bit, and we're gonna give away a code here soon, and then we'll give away another one. Redeem that, get a little bit of money, and maybe get a game. Hey, this we're trying to give it a little bit back here. So yeah, Super Lucky's Tale, man. Like I said, for those that are gonna say, see, Microsoft putting their games on Switch already. Looky here, they keep in mind that Playful isn't owned by Microsoft. It's kind of like Dead Rising or any other third-party game that ended up going somewhere else that was just kind of a deal. That's where they went. So, I don't know, anyone surprised? D-Batch? Anybody?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I ain't surprised. Is what it is, man.
Yeah. I'm not either. I mean, this isn't a game. I haven't even played it because it just doesn't, appeal to me. And I don't care. Like, if they want to make more money and hit a bigger demographic, get more people to play it, then go ahead. Like, I don't care. It's you developed it. You put the money into it. I didn't put anything into it. Enjoy and do what you got to do to make that a success for yourself. I really do not care.
Zocker's right. The more people that can play a game, the more people that can enjoy it, and the more money that developer can make. That's go multi-platform. Go have fun.
Yeah. It's just like when Nier Automata came over to Xbox. It's exactly the same type of. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it's the same type of scenario. It's a second party deal that was exclusive for a while and might not be anymore. Oh well.
Yep. And we were saying Nier and Hellblade were going to come over for like nearly a year, and everyone's like, "You're lying! It's an exclusive." So we definitely, it's common sense sometimes.
Mickey Mouse is a pony.
Yeah, it's
Hellblade's on Game Pass.
Halo Infinite got a couple different details. What to expect here? They've already got 4-player co-op running on the build, which is extremely impressive given how far out this game actually is, and it will actually reward natural exploration. Think hey, because we're all thinking Halo Infinite's kind of a big kind of open world hub world type game. So you're gonna go from keep in mind I'm sick, so my voice is doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Nah,
Right
it
now.
sounds it sounds
So yeah, it's gonna be kind of an open world-esque game, and you see something cool on the map. Maybe it'll do like Assassin's Creed Odyssey or really Witcher 3, a question mark on the map. Maybe something to check out over here. Maybe some loot or something going on over there.
hopefully something more than those little kiosks or whatever they're called, where you just like click a button and it launches.
It's an
terminal,
AT&T kiosk. What the fuck?
The terminals
like a
actually
red box.
they got so good that I was upset that they kept hiding them because the story and lore in those terminals was amazing. And to make them that you actually had to really search some of them out. Most people missed them, and that's a
Yeah, I
shame
did.
because they were just fantastic story in the Halo world, and they should have been a lot more front and center, I think.
Did you guys listen to all the audio logs from Halo ODST with the
Kebabs?
the girl that was like running from the Covenant? And
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was super good. I sat and listened to those every time. They're great.
Hmm.
That was
Anyway,
cool.
that's a tangent.
And when it comes to an open world reward system and stuff, I think that sounds like a great idea, and I really hope that different variations of armor are on the platter here for us to digest. I mean, I want to go out there and find different helmets, different arms, chest, shoulders, all that stuff, instead of having just the chief that they give us, no matter what it is. If they have the new chief from Halo 5 look, you're going to upset a lot of people. If they go back to the Halo 2 chief, I think they're going to upset a lot of people, myself included. I mean, we got to move forward, but more than that, options are better. And I really hope that we can dress up our chief any way we want.
This is something else they said that I was going to get to, that if you liked the customization of Reach, then you're also going to be happy. So
Yeah.
they're definitely like I was telling you when we were talking about it in the party, like the original Infinite trailers, the throwback armor to get your attention, to symbolize a rebirth, right? Or a redoing, start over. Let's do Halo again, but in 2020, 22, who knows when it's going to come out. We know it's not this year. So they're starting over. There's going to be a ton of customization, open world type. They showed off the new Slipstream engine.
Slipstream.
Yeah, and that looks insane. It was running at 4K 60. We had told you guys on the podcast about how they were hiring for graphics experts, 4K 60 kind of experts, and they're shooting for the moon here. So let us know in the chat what you want to see from Halo Infinite, and we'll kind of maybe call a couple of those out. But kind of any particular hopes there, D, about Halo Infinite?
In all honesty, I'm just excited we're gonna get a new Halo game, and it's an open world Halo game. I'm just excited. Like, I don't think they can do wrong on this game, man. It's a new, fresh take on it. I need the stench of the last Halo out of my system.
Oh.
So this is a welcome addition to the Halo universe for me, to be honest. Yeah.
They've also said, I believe, that they got 4-player split screen already up and running. I mean, 4-player split screen, Halo was always 2 in the campaign. So if they got 4-player going, not only did they bring it back, but they brought it back with a vengeance. All you bastards out there that were screaming for it, you better say thanks and enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's not easy to do because you're rendering the game 4 separate times on the same GPU and CPU. So that's one reason that split screen is kind of limited in some games, is because you're having to render the game twice. I mean, it's twice as demanding on the box. So they have to make cuts. For example, Halo Master Chief Collection in split screen, but only run at half the frame rate. So
yeah.
split
There's a
screen,
couple
60.
games that have done that.
Yeah. So
It's exciting news, especially since it is going to be completely different. That's kind of what I got from the trailer, like showing the environment, showing the animals, really making an emphasis on the world. And then you see Chief with his helmet off, to me signifies like, hey, all bets are off. You're going to see something completely different in Halo that you haven't seen before. And saying that they're going to reward you for natural exploration does remind me of Assassin's Creed Odyssey or God of War, where if you explore and you take the time to actually dive into the lore of the world, you are rewarded with certain
upgrades,
things, with upgrades. Yeah, like especially in Odyssey, like I went searching around and found a trident that gave me unlimited breath and water. So
we all went and got it.
Yeah, you guys all went and got it after I kind of like hinted at it. And then that was like, that's rewarding you for just being like, hey, I kind of just want to go mess around over here and not really follow the story, but just get engrossed within the world. And that's what I think they're trying to do, is really give us something that we've never seen before in a Halo game. and it's extremely exciting.
See, now I asked the chat what they would like to see in Halo Infinite, right? And I got very few answers. We got, almost 500 people watching. Chat's active, but does this mean? I mean, honestly, do you guys think people are just a little less excited for Halo than?
No, it's a ways out there. It looks like I'm looking at the chat. They're talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is just like.
I mean, it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'll talk about that bitch all day. I'm just saying, like Halo Infinite. If you want Halo to get better, if you want them to kind of re-spark that drive that you used to have for Halo, if you might have been a big Halo fan, what do they need to bring back?
Violence. Halo 1 and 2 had a lot of alien gore spilling everywhere when you shot these fucking things, and they took it out. I think it was because there was a big load on the systems and they were pushing better graphics over, but man, there was a while there for the first 2 games. You shot these aliens and there was like arteries being burst and purple and neon blue and orange blood on everything. I loved it. It was fantastic. And the corpses stayed around for a long, long time, and you could shoot them too. Now they disappear pretty quick. I want to see all that return. Make Halo gritty and gruesome. It's one of the darkest stories out there. My God, it's dark. I want to see the graphics reflect that. Make it savage looking.
I think it looks like a lot of people are not even really talking about in the chat. They're not really talking about the single player. I've seen Battle Royale thrown around, and they want Halo 3 multiplayer back. It seems like people really want the multiplayer to stand out. Not much people talking about the single player.
It will. I mean, 5 was saved by having an excellent multiplayer, and the Warzone firefight that came later. Yeah. We all want that. We all want that that campaign to bring us back to how we felt.
Philosopher Doom in the chat says more intimidating enemies. That's one reason I liked Halo Wars 2. I feel like Halo Wars 2 had one of the best stories of any Halo game, and dudes were getting their arms broken and shit, getting dominated, crushed, really like getting fucked up, right? And I like a more gruesome, gritty tale because it's a war, so that's why I really enjoyed those cinematic scenes from Halo Wars 2. And I have a feeling they're going to tie that into the next Halo somehow.
I just think the story in the last game just ruined Halo for a lot of people, myself included, and they just need to come back with a real good story. I think people they lost hope in having a good story again. They really need to address that. And there's like little things too. Like I remember, I don't know if it was which one it was. The grunts, they changed the way the grunts sounded. Oh, that
was Reach. Reach. They hadn't learned English yet in Halo Reach. That was great. It's not exactly 343's fault because the story was really good in 4, but 5 they went a direction that just nobody really liked. And
on that, I was going to say the ending in 5 was awesome. The ending of 5 with Cortana now being kind of like a god complex and do as I say or else. Like there will be peace, but it'll be the peace that I dictate. And like she's basically just not on our side anymore. And all the other AI that humanity completely relies on for their space travel and technology and everything else is all of a sudden kind of up. You're wondering, should they go and join Cortana and be a part of this godlike AI race that oversees the galaxy, or maybe stick with the humans and they don't like what's going on? I think that is a fantastic shakeup for the world of Halo.
What if Cortana has to fight with Alexa? Alexa,
Cortana. Oh, I better not say that. Alexa, stop listening.
Alexa, delete yourself.
Hey, so delete yourself. So yeah, that's actually a good point, Shady. I will say first and foremost, Lethal. Alexa, shut up. I will say first and foremost that Lethal, get one of them codes right. We're about to drop some Xbox money in the chat. First come, first serve. And I'll tell you when to drop that, of course, good sir. And I will also say that with the next Halo, Cortana is now the god of the universe. They need to have her drop back. I'm tired of fighting robot dogs and shit, right?
Yes.
Bring the Flood back in.
Yeah.
And then bring Atriox in. It's a three-way thing between the Earth forces, Atriox, the Flood, and then in the background they can set Cortana up for the big final chapter or whatever, some far-out battle that's really the fate of the universe type thing. But bring that Flood back in, redo them from the ground up, make them terrifying. Like the first game, when you first ran into them, you're like, what is this, right? So
yes, I bring the Brutes back. The Brutes were, oh man, they just made the series.
Mm-hmm.
They were great.
Yep. Okay. So,
is that enough Halo talk for 1 year?
Yeah, it is.
Tell you three.
Carmos says Halo with new Doom game style and action. Thanks, bud, in the super chat. We do appreciate it. That will be pretty interesting. So
like
yeah,
the glory kills, I'd be all over that.
Oh,
They sort of already do
to death. He's like,
They do if you're
They have the
get
execution
behind them. Yeah,
that's right. So
Rip him apart as he yells at hamburgers. It'd be great.
They should just expand on that. I remember back with Halo 1, my buddy and I wished that you could like literally grab guys and suplex elites and stuff with the animation. So I wanted to see my co-op partner just destroying guys. And I think that glory kill mechanic from Doom is insane. And I want to see it in more games. Bring it into Rage 2, bring it into Halo. I love it.
Yeah, just a little sliver of it. Just copy a little bit and bring it in. I would love that.
All right, Lethal, go ahead and drop that code, brother. Be on the lookout for Lethal in the chat, our faithful moderator.
I just banned Lethal from the chat. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Yeah, dang it.
Grab those codes. Grab those codes.
Lethal's going to drop that code in the chat for you guys. Just copy, paste it, whatever you got to do. And add that to your mic.
I had to put a guy in timeout a minute ago that said it would be really great if Halo Infinite was canceled. I'm like, okay, guy, quiet down.
It'd be really great if Halo Infinite was stupid idiot.
That way they wouldn't have something to play.
Hey, Shady, a little while ago, Lethal dropped that code in the chat, by the way. Good luck, everybody. Alexa, shut up. All right.
May they all ever be.
I'm going to hand this topic off to Shady real quick while I go check on something. I'll be right back. But Battletoads, the CEO of this company, was actually talking about Battletoads recently. Shady, you remember this?
No, I don't, which is why I asked
you.
It
was somebody.
Come on, he's got it. Shady's got it. Shady's all over it.
I'm not. I tried to look it up and I couldn't find what it was. I just recall seeing that the CEO was saying that they have the chance to kind of go all in and reinvent this franchise, and they're not just going to do a little quick copy and paste and get a resed version of the old game.
So
it's something new and exciting. But
they're going to go kind of more all out on and redo it from the ground up and all that stuff.
Yeah, they're hand drawing the game. They're using like what they call 2.5 2.5 dimensions. So it'll be 2D, but it'll have parallaxing backgrounds, 3D looking characters, kind of like, just like the classic.
When you think of those classic Battletoads games, I've always found it really hard to put them into any real genre. I mean, the first level is like a Double Dragon style beat 'em up, Ninja Turtles in Time. Then the second level, you're going down the big tunnel, hanging from the ropes, and you're like hitting crows and other enemies and stuff on the side and dodging laser beams as you get lowered into this like long tree trunk. And then after that, you're on these like floating go-kart cars going 8 million miles an hour trying to avoid walls coming at you, which was insane. Yeah. That's pretty much where 90% of the gameplay population died off. Like you just could not get past that level. But when you did, it didn't get any easier. You were climbing snakes that were moving super fast, and you had to jump and avoid a whole bunch of like spiked balls all over the place, or you were running from a rat on like a jet scooter that was chasing you. It had all types of different gameplay in it. So I'm just not sure what the hell they're going to do with this new one. I'm really excited about it because I loved Battletoads.
Yeah, I looked up some stuff that they said, and it says it's going to be in 4K with the 3-player couch co-op. So that's pretty much, or 3 players, what it says.
Yeah, because there's 3 characters.
There's 3 characters.
And I also expect Battletoads to not be like a big, it's not going to be a big AAA game. It's going to be a smaller arcade title. It's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be like a $30 purchase or something like that. It'll probably be in Game Pass day and date.
I would think so.
I wonder how hard it's going to be.
I hope it's that Double Dragon style for the whole game. That's kind of what it was in the arcade. The arcade versions of Battletoads was like Double Dragon, basically. And that was my favorite part of the game. And I would like that again. Because, the Toads, they had the powers where their fists or their hands would turn into like axes and hammers and maces and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool. So I hope they really double down on that kind of thing again.
And on a game like that, it's really good at parties. Like over the holidays, when we went over to everyone's houses, I noticed everybody had a Switch. So we're playing a lot of Switch over the holidays. And those style games, we have like 3-4 player on screen at the same time are great to get people together. So I hope they do it. I hope they deliver.
I really hope they also bring back whoever was responsible for those old Battletoads games soundtrack, especially Super Battletoads on the SNES. Oh my God, that soundtrack was fantastic. I remember loading it up all the time just to hear the music in some of these games. This was like pre-internet. So if you wanted to hear the themes to your favorite games, you had to actually load the damn game, which was pretty cool. But bring back the guy that did the music because that was one of the best parts for me.
That's our Battletoads budget for the day. We do have to move on, but Battletoads supposed to release this year. So, wow, this year. That's weird. We're in 2019, guys. We do have to thank everybody for joining us for the first RDX of 2019. Almost 550 people watch us live. Already hit that like button. Let's try to get to 300 for the end of the show. It is well appreciated and helps the podcast quite a bit.
Boom, boom, kaboom. Am I here?
For rocking out with us. Noof, are you alive?
Well, I'm alive, but I don't have any clue how my audio sounded. Any better? Good? What?
Better, but it's better, but yeah, it sounds a little distant, but at least it's clear, but kind of distant, bro.
It's okay, but you're in the toilet.
Good to me, man.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna have to figure it out from here. I don't know. This is fucking. I do apologize. I didn't realize
Hey,
this.
put your head
computer
closer to your computer as you're talking, and we'll tell.
Check. Is that better?
It's not like 80% better.
Take off your sock and lay it over the mic so we get like a muffled sound.
Holy
Nice.
fuck! I think I could have an easier time talking through a condom. What the hell, man?
It's much better than it was.
That is quite magical.
Let me close out this Battletoads thing by saying that this D-La Studios is helping Rare develop this Battletoads, and I just looked at the games they've made, and I don't think we've ever heard of them. They're probably just small arcade indie games. Nothing to Fear, Overruled, and Jansky's space-based physics adventure, which sounds like something that Shady does on the weekends.
I feel like Battletoads is going to be a game like Ashen or like Below, where it just drops randomly. Like you're just like, oh, it's coming. It's this week. Cool.
Yeah, probably.
No,
All
we're
right,
talking
well,
Spider-Man
speaking of
level
games, God
marketing.
damn it, we got to move on. Fuck. We're going to talk about January's games with gold real quick for the people that don't know. I think one of these has already dropped already. But for the Xbox One, you do have Celeste. That is coming this month in January for free. You've also got Lara Croft and the Guardian of No One Gives a Shit. You've got the 360 games. You've got WRC. It's a rally game 6. And you got Far Cry 2. Yeah. How would you guys rate this month, Noof?
Oh man, I can rate it in one word.
What?
Is that
Nice.
I'm gonna snooze on this one. First of all, I got the Lara Croft one, played that a while back. That's okay. As far as those rally games, most of them are like, they're hit and miss. I think maybe Dirt Rally might have been one of the better ones. What's the other one? Well, Celeste, I could give a rat's friggin' tiddlywink about that game. Everybody's bragging about it, but it's just another 2D side scroller. I'm so sick of these fucking indie games all going back to 16-bit. Like, fuck's sakes, we left that generation behind for a reason. Come on, bring some shit, man. That's all I got to say.
Innovate.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of those kind of games, and usually it's just hard for the sake of being fucking hard. So it's just like, forget it.
Celeste is a Game of the Year nominee.
It is.
And I would say the same thing about Dead Cells, but it's kind of won me over this month.
I love Dead Cells.
Yeah.
Dead Cells is really good. Celeste, I've heard nothing but amazing things on. I'm not, high and mighty on the characters, so to speak, but I'll definitely check it out. Far Cry 2 is, to a lot of people, the best in the entire series. It was the one that had a lot more realism. Your guns were jamming and breaking.
Yes, I love it.
Your guy was digging bullets out of his thighs and stomach and arms with a whole bunch of cool animations all over the place. The fire propagated awesome in the world. There was some issues I found with the AI spawning in spots. Like it was too much, but
they respawned at checkpoったbut that game,
it was really good.
When you were supposed to take out a enemy encampment, like you really could do it your way. They kind of funneled that down in Far Cry 3 with you can snipe, you can tag, you can go in there and melee attack them, but that's pretty much it.
And it takes place in Africa, and I remember thinking, it's like, what the hell are you going to do with an environment in Africa? Because, we're typically exposed in a lot of the stuff we see from there. It's like some barren wasteland desert. It's not. There's actually beautiful stuff over there, and it takes place in dense jungle area. It was a fantastic game. It was difficult. I liked it a lot for the time.
It's a good game to own, for sure, even if you're not going to play much. Yeah,
that's right.
It's a good one to own.
And then rally racing games, like Noof said, are a bit of hit and miss, but when they're good, I love them. It just feels great, power sliding around in the dirt and the huge clouds of dust everywhere. The people sitting right beside the racetrack, which in real life, that's a Darwin Award waiting to happen. I don't know what to say about that, but
You've seen the videos of cars flipping over and hitting everybody in the stand.
They're diving. It's so exhilarating. I almost was killed. Jeez, not for me. But as far as the games go, I like it. I think this is a good month, especially for the people out there that don't buy everything. It's a fantastic month.
The only one I'm looking forward to is Celeste because I've heard things about it. I'm going to check it out. I don't know if it's for me. Everything else, I'm kind of eh. To be honest with you, I used to enjoy the 360 games that were being brought out for Games with Gold. But after a while, like we've gotten so many damn games as the generation went on that it's to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to go back and play these games. Like Far Cry 2, I've played on the PC. It's cool, but I'm playing Far Cry 5 right now. It's like, I'm not going to go back. And the rally racing, I'm just kind of like, meh. I'd rather play Forza Horizon 4.
You're just a negative Nancy.
I'm not a negative Nancy. I'm just saying, as the generations gone by, how many games have we had this year alone where it's just like, holy shit? I guarantee
we're double fucked next year because next year is absolutely or this year. Now I can say this year it's
yeah, that's right.
It's packed. You know. Hey, by the way, that Resident Evil 2 remake demo, Shady, wasn't that supposed to hit today?
I heard. I don't want to say who was saying it. We don't need to run anyone's name through the mud if it's not out. But it was a rumor. I guess it popped up on some Xbox store somewhere in the world for a couple seconds, and someone snagged a screenshot of it, and it said January 1st. Today's the 1st. I don't see the demo myself, so I guess it's not. That's a bummer.
Yeah, I was looking for it, man. I'm a little let down.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to trying out that Resident Evil 2 remake. Let us know if you are picking that up when it comes out later this month. But yeah, if there's a demo, it needs to hit soon because the game itself hits soon. So a couple weeks anyway. So Games with Gold, hey, things could be better, but at the end of the day, I don't really generally complain about this stuff. I guess, I don't know. I usually own all this stuff anyway, so it doesn't really matter all that much to me. You've got some news about Ori and the Will of the Wisp, or at least from one of the lead developers. He said that pretty much coming soon, there's going to be some news from Ori, the team, that's going to shock the industry. Now, I know that guy is really into himself. That's what I hear, from people that talk to him behind the scenes and stuff. I don't know what they could possibly be working on that's going to shock the industry. What exactly, D-Batch, would they ever do with Ori and the Will of the Wisp that's going to like literally shock us all? Like, wow, they did that? Holy crap.
I don't know. To be honest with you, from what I've seen, it's more or less the same of the original. Just they built upon it, but I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Maybe the chat can tell us. Somebody said, Switch release, but that's not going to shock the world. That's not going to shock anybody, and it's not very likely on day one either. So, I mean, chat, maybe you can tell us. What do you think that news would come out of the Ori camp that would shock the industry?
Free to play, no microtransactions.
That would, the free to play would be kind of shocking.
Why would you do that? I think they're going to go first person and have glory kills.
You never know. Maybe they hit a frame rate like a 120 or something. I don't know. Like that. That's like I'm trying to think of what shocks. Like what's going to be like. Holy shit! Like 4K, 120. Who knows? Like that's the only thing I'm trying to think of that. But either the guys are just hyping it up.
Spend the whole fucking game picking up friggin' t-shirts from Old Navy until you finally get to kill the last boss.
So somebody said co-op. Like even co-op, I wouldn't say shock the industry. I mean, that's some creative words, shock the industry.
It just sounds like he's trying to build hype for the game. It just sounds kind of like hyperbolish. It's just like, it's going to shock the industry. It's like, all right, bro, relax.
It's like somebody trying to make a YouTube headline for their video.
Maybe maybe if they're like, it's out now, maybe that would be like, but even shocked is pretty strong.
Right.
So can Con Master, you bored. Okay.
What?
So I don't know what it would be, and the chat doesn't seem to know much either. So
a good video game movie.
A good video game movie.
No, if it was if it was porn, it'd be called Hori and the Blind Hookers.
Oh,
and Noof would already have a copy.
Noof would be starring in it.
So it looks like Microsoft and Sony are trading blows here, at least on the games front, going to other platforms, because Persona 5, which was never just like Ori, or just like, what did I say, Ori? Just like Super Lucky's Tale, Persona 5 is just a third-party game that's on the platform and not on a different platform yet. So Persona 5 is apparently headed to Switch with some information coming out about a Switch version in the works. So, I mean, and possibly the Xbox as well. I know Phil Spencer wants to get Persona on the Xbox too. So Persona 5, not really anything close to my cup of tea, but D-Batch, you seem like a weird motherfucker. You into this?
No, not really.
Rude.
So no.
D, can you explain to us why Persona has not moved to the Xbox yet?
I don't know, man. It's kind of a cult niche kind of game, you know. Like I don't know. I don't even get the game, to be honest.
Keep in mind that
talking shit.
Persona 5 sold as many copies on the PlayStation 4 as Sunset Overdrive did on the Xbox One. Wow. They're around 2 million sold. So
no, keep in mind that also Persona 5 had 80 million PS3s to sell on as well, I do believe. So
right. So I mean, but it's a cult loved classic cultist. And when I bought my PlayStation 4, that was like the most common thing, and I was told Malaka. Everyone told me, Colt, you got to play Persona. And I'm like, it's just not my thing, and I don't know.
Or of course, we're excited for FedEx Simulator 2020. Of course,
2019 maybe.
I really wish that video did better. For those that don't know, I did a Death Stranding kind of spoof parody FedEx Simulator, FedEx Delivery Simulator video. I just kind of overdid some dub shit, and it didn't do quite as well as I would have wanted it to. But it'll always be the thing that's referenced anytime Death Stranding pops up, is that FedEx Delivery Simulator thing. So yeah, Persona 5, just like Jeff Keighley, it must he thinks is big enough to try to do a Rocksteady move and cut the lights and unveil a character in Smash for it, which was very underwhelming.
Once that character was revealed, I kind of had a feeling that it was going to come to the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
It fits that Nintendo mentality again. Like, people love it. Again, they like Octopath Traveler. They like those type of games. So yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Persona 5 I know a couple people that do love that game, and it's just it's only like 2 people that I know. So it's just a game that's coming, and if it comes to Xbox, I guess cool, man. More people can play it, and again, like, the developer going to enjoy it, but it's just not my cup of tea, and it does seem extremely niche. Like, I just don't really care.
Yeah, Tryhard fan says it's game of the year worthy, and to people that like those types of games, that's what I hear.
It's like a 90 out of 100. Yeah, it's really high rated.
Yeah, it's up there. So that was kind of leaked thanks to a domain name. So it's probably legit. You're probably looking at Persona 5 coming to other platforms and possibly the Xbox in the future when no one will give a shit. Either way, Sony building studios, or at least this is something that's kind of been leaked, and then we'll go into their other studios out there that you did a video on here recently. So kind of gear up all that stuff. But basically, a LinkedIn profile has a job post looking for growth investment on Sony's side, talking about basically trying to buy up some new things and expand their software there. Really trying to compete and trying to out-invest Microsoft. Keep in mind, Sony sold off most of their stuff, right? Cell phones, laptops, like, they're not making a lot of this stuff anymore. So gaming is their number one thing, and they're going to invest harder and harder in this because this is where they're getting most of their money from now. Right?
Yeah. I think we heard about this before. Weren't they saying after God of War or something that they were filling up a lot of their studios with more people? Or are they coming out now and saying they're buying more studios? Which one is it?
Yeah, I think it's more alluding to buying, investing in more studios.
Okay. Well, I mean, if they're going to get into some kind of a bidding war for these studios, I think it'd be hard for them to compete with Microsoft if Microsoft is taking gaming serious. We'll see what happens.
Hey, Salty said they're trying to keep the profits bigger before they sell to Google.
Oh, man.
Isn't it Apple? I thought Apple was buying Sony.
No, it's just the TV division or the movie division.
Apparently not. And apparently they got another studio an unannounced studio, right, Zucker?
Yeah, they announced the studio actually back in February in San Diego.
Oh, they did announce it. Okay.
Yeah, back in February. And so apparently they've been just kind of biding time, and it's a lot of the leads. So basically people that were under the main leads of Naughty Dog, Guerrilla Games, Sucker Punch, they took all those people, and now they're recruiting basically animators and tech guys for the next third-person action adventure story-driven cinematic game for the future.
From Sony? No, they don't make those games. They don't make those games.
It's not nothing different. Just the same kind of samey game that they make, and it's just it is a little like letdown for me, especially because I do want something different. But it's apparently the rumor is with the leads and the people that they have in there, it's Uncharted, the next one. and it's basically because Naughty Dog doesn't want to make another Uncharted. They've kind of hinted that they're like, yeah, we're kind of done with it. So it's one of the most profitable franchises for Sony. So they want to make a whole new thing for it. A whole new
Sony's still walking to the barn with an empty thing for looking for more milk. Hey, what do you mean you're done? Fuck that.
Well, I saw somewhere on Twitter today, it looks like there's a new SOCOM in the works, and I think that would be the perfect game to bring back for Sony's platform, because if there's one area they're really struggling in is to find an established multiplayer franchise. Yep. And riding the coattails right now of games that are very successful in third person, like Fortnite, like PUBG, et cetera, SOCOM just seems like a natural fit to make its return and make it return to fine form, but they need a good studio handling the build. And, I'm sure if it do come out, it'll probably jump on the Battle Royale craze just like everybody else is doing. But SOCOM would definitely be the one that's instantly recognizable underneath the platform. I mean, I love the SOCOM franchise. I actually like the last one that came out on PS3. It was SOCOM 4. I actually thought that was pretty decent.
SOCOM is big.
I think SOCOM is, if they're doing that, they might have had to backtrack, because Tom Clancy's Wildlands kind of just filled that void for everybody. To me, it's exactly like SOCOM. If you play by yourself, it's better than SOCOM.
Have you played both, Noof? Do you agree with that?
I do think the newest Ghost Recon is very similar to the SOCOM series and is probably better in many ways, but I don't think the old what do you call them? The Ghost Recon games didn't really feel, they felt largely different, especially if you look at Future Soldier and those kind of games. So no, I think they're very similar style games, but SOCOM, if they go back to their roots and stuff like that, they could have, like I said, another big hit on their hands. I'm sure a lot of PlayStation fans would be chomping at the bit to get their hands on it. So,
well, I'm not talking about like multiple Tom Clancy games. I'm just talking about Wildlands in general. Like that one specifically is exactly like SOCOM.
Yes, Wildlands basically, and I even said this to someone a while back. It felt like Wildlands was a spiritual successor to SOCOM in many ways, especially to the fourth game, because the fourth game in the SOCOM franchise felt like a fair bit different than the ones that came before it, including, what was it, like Fireteam Bravo or whatever the hell they had, that sort of thing. It started to become a little more action oriented. Not to say there wasn't action before, but you know what I mean? Like the first few SOCOM games are a little more tactical. I think the fourth one started to branch off and become a little more action based. So I definitely think the Wildlands is a better game than those probably series have ever been, but it just kind of largely borrowed from it and improved on the on it, and of course combining some mechanics from the Division as well, because to me Ghost Recon Wildlands feels like a jungled version of the Division in many ways.
You know what I'd like to see a lot more than a SOCOM, which to me just comes off as another military shooter in a sea of military shooters. I know it's a bit different than like COD, obviously Battlefield, but it's a military shooter. So is this one a bit, but not. Siphon Filter. I'd like to see Siphon Filter come back. That was really fun for the time. Yeah. I loved the ragdoll kill physics, the pixelated blood flying off the guys as you lit them up. It was good stuff. It was kind of Splinter Cell-esque, and I think there's a bit of more of a void in that genre today than there is for military shooters.
That was another rumor. Look at Tryhard talking shit on Uncharted. That franchise is not overrated, sir. It's one of the few reasons I own a PS4. Uncharted is actually really, really fucking good. But it'd be interesting. Both a new what the fuck were we just talking about? See, I already forgot. It's been so long since it came out. Both the new SOCOM and Siphon Filter has kind of been a rumored thing for Sony for a while. Jade Raymond, I think she just confirmed that they were working on a new Splinter Cell, but it pretty much got canceled or something like that not long ago. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. She was working on it.
So they were definitely working on a new Splinter Cell, but as of right now, maybe it's on hold. I don't know. There was also another thing going on, a rumor about an NPD leak, it kind of seems sketchy. I don't know how accurate that is, but saying Switch crossed 2 million, Xbox did over 1 million, and PS4 did under 1 million. I'm not buying it for December's NPD, but I don't know. I just figured I'd throw that out there for those.
That was on Reset Error. Some guy said.
And Matt Piscatella already said that all of them did 1.3 million each.
That was last month, I think, didn't it?
That was last month. That was November.
Yeah. That was November?
Fucking fraud.
Somebody Piscatella had new numbers, so I hadn't looked at what Matt had said for December.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to almost 500 or almost 600 people watching us live, guys. Hit that like button. Thanks for joining us on the first of the year, 2019. This podcast has been going for, Yeah, about a year and a half now, guys. And we've had ridiculous support the whole way, and we do appreciate it, even when I'm half dead and sick. And, Colt's talking about month-old numbers. You guys still stick in. And
I'm sticking your trap.
you guys still rock out with us, even when we're talking about Battletoads for 10 minutes. So we do appreciate it. Activision, they're firing their CFO. Who was it through this topic?
That was me.
What's going on there, Zach? Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because our Activision are assholes or what?
Yeah, Activision Blizzard. It's it's gone 26% down their overall like earnings or something like that. And apparently they were like, yeah, we're getting rid of him, and they didn't say why. They just said it, and people were digging around, going, well, you need to give us a reason, kind of like so we can report it. And they just kind of shut up and didn't say anything. And apparently he was poached by Netflix to become their CFO. And they offered him money, and he basically left because of a lot of the rumors are, from what the articles were saying, is that he left because of a lot of the turmoil that's going on with Blizzard, Activision, Destiny's not performing. Like a lot of shit's just going down over there at Activision. And sadly, Blizzard, one of my favorite developers, which was murdered in front of us by it just shot in the face. And so, yeah, he's leaving, or he got fired is what they say. But apparently he just walked away.
Tommy Jordan in the chat's like, Xbox did not sell more than PlayStation. Stop it. Well,
Soldier Boy's taking over.
I need to remind you that the Xbox actually did very well. Like even in 2016 when the S launched, it beat the PS4 several months. So, and as I said when we just brought that up, it seems very sketchy. I wouldn't really buy it, but calm down, bud. Sales aren't the end all be all, or we'd all be driving Ferraris right now. So, Activision CFO, being poached apparently. Death Stranding. Norman Reedus was saying some fuck shit on this game. He's the one who said that they were going to reveal the release date at the Game Awards, right?
Yeah, he said early this year, 2019, early 2019, it's coming. And it was like, people were like, wait, what the fuck did you say?
So is he just taking some Ambien or what? What's going on?
I don't know. He was just freaking high from The Walking Dead, just filming it, just tired, dehydrated in the wild. And he's like, yeah, it's coming out next. Yeah, this year. Fuck.
Taking some Roseanne bar pills.
The reason that I bring that up is to give people context that Norman Reedus is, I don't know what the fuck this dude's on, drinking some pine sol. I have no clue. But he said that Death Stranding was going to be episodic.
I can see it.
He said Death Stranding was an episodic game. Did he not?
Man.
He's probably like, man, if you spend like 80 hours a week to a mocap next to a fake fetus in a jar, you go squirrely too.
Even looking back at the last Metal Gear, man, they had a prequel that he was selling for like $30 that was only a few hours long. This is in his wheelhouse. Kojima-san, it's in his wheelhouse. It wouldn't surprise me at all if this is episodic, and $30 an episode for like 5, 6, 7 hour episodes. I could see it. I'm not surprised at all.
Death Stranding, people are like, what's Death Stranding? It's the FedEx delivery simulator we were just talking about.
With the invisible hand feet people that walk around you.
So I don't think this game's going to do well. I'm saying it's just not. I'm interested myself. I like the sci-fi stuff. The game looks beautiful, but they haven't shown anything but walking. That's all they've shown is walking. But I did beat Edith Finch earlier this morning. It was a good game. That's all that game was walking. So I
disagree. You do some really
be a good game.
Edith Finch.
Yeah, you do, but most of it is walking. It's light on the gameplay. No, I can't pretend that it's in your face with it. But check that game out. It's on sale, by the way. Check it out.
It's really good. I think anyone who is looking for a different experience in gaming, and it's not just a walking simulator. Like some really fucked up shit happens in this game. If you're a gamer and you're looking for a new experience, you got to try Edith Finch. But hey, I got to give a shout out to everybody watching, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get up to 300 for the end of the show. We do appreciate it. So Norman Reedus is said this again, that Death Stranding is episodic. He said that on Twitter, right, Zalker?
Yeah, he said it in like an interview or something like that on Twitter. So he said like he was talking and then he just said that, and I don't know. I think I honestly don't even know if he knows what the fuck's going on. Like he just goes, Kojima's a genius, and then they're like ask him about the story, and he's like, shit's happening. Like he doesn't like dude, nobody knows what's going on except I think Kojima. I don't even think the people developing the game do. And it might, maybe they're trying to get it out before 2020, and that's why it might be episodic. We don't know. But we've heard, I think Dealer, you've heard it too, that this game is farther along than a lot of people think. Yep. So, I mean, for it to have this lack of detail of what's happening in such a game like this, it's kind of like, alarming to me. Warren.
I think that
I
rumor
mean,
of
keep
it
in
being
mind,
so
though,
far
real
along
quick,
fits in.
Keep in mind though that the reason they switched to the Decima engine is so they could move the progress of building the game forward, right? Because it was going to take much longer on the other engine apparently. So that's why they even ported it over to the Horizon Zero Dawn engine, right? Shady, what were you gonna say?
Oh well. First off, doesn't Konami own the Metal Gear engine?
The Fox engine? I'm not sure. But
Yeah, so
that
I
could
think they
be,
couldn't even use it if they wanted to. I bet.
I
If
think
I
it's
had to
his
guess.
engine though. I'm not sure. So
I don't know. They owned his ass for a long time. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But I was just saying this wouldn't surprise me at all. Like I said, they already sold a prequel to Metal Gear for $30. That was only 3 or 4 hours long. That's typically an episodic type thing. Like it's already in his wheelhouse, and the game being as far done as that rumor implies, I think fits into the episodic narrative. That's why it's as far done, because they're only doing 1 episode right now, and then they've got who knows long until they belch out a second or third.
Yeah, a lot of this rumor stuff was really floating around during the Game Awards because people were for sure, if you looked on Reddit, the PlayStation Reddit, everything, that there was going to be a release date for Death Stranding and all this stuff because of Norman Reedus talking. So this is where this is all coming from, is him basically blabbing a little bit during that time.
and Kojima's like, shut the fuck up, like
Well,
threw a Death Star at him. Just did.
The reason I think episodic content can work for some games and can kill others is because if you're struggling to find enough funding to finance a very ambitious project, which I'm sure Kojima's would be, and I don't know how much funds he has at his availability or how big his team actually is. But I mean, the thing is with episodic content, you can kind of test the waters. You're not really committed to doing 5 episodes per se. You can test the waters with 1. And if enough people jump on it, you know what I mean? Then you basically extend the term for your team. Maybe you get extra funding from the sales of the first episode and then kind of build on that. And I think that's kind of where Telltale went until at one point, I think that's the problem with Telltale is every game that they had was episodic and some of them took a while to come out and people just kind of got tired of waiting for shit to drop. And I also think that was a big reason why Hitman, the first game, struggled a little while back, and the second game came out this past fall and was all in one lump sum. So they learned their lesson, right?
Well, that game flopped even harder. I heard
Hitman flopped, but I would say Telltale, their main problem was their licensing, and I don't think it's the budget with Kojima because I mean Sony's funding this fucking thing, aren't they? This isn't an independent basically studio. Sony's funding it, and what we've heard from developers say, like, hey, if we need time or money, we would call them up and be like, hey, we need more time. And all they've said is, yeah, Insomniac has said that.
That's it.
A lot of people have said that. Like, yeah,
just
go
Insomniac. Just Insomniac.
Slow
your roll.
God of War.
Sony Santa Monica took their whole first prototype to them and said, no, come back, come back with something better. They're known for giving developers time. And that's why you get those, experiences with Naughty Dog games and stuff. Like time makes a big difference. So.
Maybe that's why
actually
they
one of the
pulled
biggest things I'm
E3.
excited for Microsoft games because they're giving them more time now. So, yeah, I think it's okay to give them that. Sony like Uncharted got delayed. I think a couple times maybe. Horizon Zero Dawn got delayed. Days Gone got delayed. They delayed a lot of fucking games, and that's because they want them to be finished experiences. So, Dream Daddy, Philosopher Doom's fucking shit up in the chat. Death Stranding, it is what it is. I got to go off the gameplay that I'm seeing, and right now, as he says in the trailer itself, I deliver. That's all I do. So we just, I don't know. We know he has guns because
there's more than that.
Fucking DoorDash over here.
There's got to be guns. There's got to be because he does pull one out for a split second in the trailer, but we just don't know. It was definitely, it seemed like it was gameplay, but from a different perspective. I have no clue. I'm sure there's guns, but there's obviously a lot of walking as well.
You got to fend off those package thieves that everyone else. He's got to make a glitter bomb DLC incoming.
Seems very plausible. Hey, Lethal, get that next code ready, brother. Give out some more free Xbox money for the chat. Big sale going on right now, guys, on the Xbox store. A lot of good games. Pick up Edith Finch. That's a good one to pick up.
Hey,
or the Batman Return to Arkham collection. That's $5.
Tommy Jordan says, when was the last time Xbox had a game of the year? Lol. Well, I went and looked that up, actually. There were 4 game of the years for PlayStation 4 and 2 for Xbox in all of the game of the year history. So, things change.
Best
things
sports game of the year. Was it not Forza Horizon 4? That's a game of the year award. It won one. Get the
Yeah,
fuck out
I mean,
of here.
what got the top game of the year? Gears of War and Knights of the Old Republic. Those were the game of the year. The game of the year on PlayStation was The Last of Us, God of War. Help me out, guys. There's 2 more on PlayStation. That's it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but we're going back to
I would
2002
imagine
or something.
Uncharted because 92 was kind of crazy at the time, you know.
Which
Uncharted
Uncharted
2, I think, was game of the year.
It might have been
a lot of
Uncharted 2.
places.
Yeah.
it had to be
Overwatch
Uncharted.
beat Uncharted 4. You know, it's like almost every single game of the year is a multi-plat. You know, it's like these guys
Sneak
are
City
fanboys.
says, "Fucking love you guys." Thank you very much. But then again, who is the video game? Who is Jeff Keighley? Why is that event the thing that tells you what game is?
Oh, there's like 25 game of the year outlets every year. You know,
Well, I remember Overwatch beating Uncharted 4, which I really disagreed with. Uncharted 4 should have won. And I was like, how come Jeff Keighley gets to decide?
He doesn't. It's a panel of experts mixed
You get what
with.
I'm saying? I'm not
yeah,
saying him specifically, but why does he
He
get to
ponied up the
orchestrate
money.
this?
He ponied up the money. That's really all it is. I mean, video games in the real, serious world are still looked at as a juvenile thing, not like movies. We're not there yet. And it took one of the guys who's been in the industry. Jeff Keighley has been doing what he's doing for like 20 plus years.
Yeah.
I saw him on Canadian TV growing up. This guy has been around. I don't hate him at all. I think he's kind of a cool dude.
Well,
But
I mean,
it's
at
because
this rate,
he's just willing to pay the money. No, none of these other networks and stuff are doing it. What, CBC or CBS, whoever, they did one this year, but no one in the world gave 2 shits. Didn't even know what happened.
He's
Red
the Ryan
Dead wasn't on the
Seacrest of
list.
gaming.
Yeah, I mean,
it's easy to hate him, but he's putting in the work.
Yeah,
I'm tired of his musical. Next year we're gonna have the flute guy from fucking Sony's E3 there. All the musical stuff that they had going on. I don't know.
Yeah, it was too much.
Hey, Lethal, go ahead and drop that code, brother. Give away some Xbox money to the chat. Shout out to everybody here. He's dropping that code now. What's going on, Darkvicious? Y9 Power, Happy, all you guys. G-Man. I'm actually able to. I've orchestrated things. Kid Smooth, what's going on, brother?
You can actually read the entire chat. You can actually read everyone's name in here and say what's up.
Things. So, we've got a Xbox update to talk about as well, which actually, one thing we've been complaining about is the dashboard for the X. If you remember, November 7th, 2017, that was the fastest the dashboard's ever been on the Xbox One X. Now I go in the other room, boot up my Gears 4 Xbox One S, and I'm like, wow, this is actually really fast. It's substantially faster than my X's dashboard now. I'm not sure what's happened. I think we can all agree that stuff needs to be sped up, and there's some bugs and stuff. So this update is kind of centered towards some of that. So this newest update that's supposed to be coming relatively soon fixes some games crashing in the background stuff, so you have a little bit more of a consistent experience. The dashboard blank tile issues are supposed to be sorted out as well. If you notice, sometimes you go into your tiles and your dashboard, checking out your games, either the color of the tile has changed randomly, the title will disappear, stuff like that. Like the name will disappear. There's little bugs that happen that really shouldn't be happening.
Did you guys experience any of these? Like I experienced the game crashing in the back, Rocket League, when I would go on there after a while, like maybe not have it on for a few hours and go back to jump in a game, it will crash while I turned it on. It'll just like stop and then go to the main screen or go to the home screen. That's the only one of these I kind of saw happening, and that hasn't happened since. It's been fixed, it looks like.
I've experienced games not even loading up. I've experienced with my external hard drive loaded with games, and it just sits there at the splash screen, doesn't load ever. Oh man.
And
that's true. Yeah, I was just playing Wolfenstein today. Actually, I was in the middle of a level. All of a sudden, it kicks me back to the title screen and then decides that now it's going to read my hard drive. I was like, what the fuck is this? And sometimes, like I said, you'll hit the start and then the game just goes like black and then nothing happens. And you're like, okay, well, is it going to start? And then you just got to kind of restart it again. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. I'm looking for, I'm actually more excited about this kind of update than ever because it seems like the Xbox kind of needs one of these updates. It's been a little bit, I don't know where that team's been, but they haven't updated anything in a while. The avatars are here and stuff, but let's be honest, most people didn't give a backflipping butt fuck about avatars. So that's not really a thing most people give a shit about. But the dashboard blank tile issue and stuff, that's supposed to be getting improved along with Cortana, which no one cares about Cortana either. Just stop. Like I can't even turn. I hear people trying to turn her off, and apparently she just won't go away. Like no matter if you turn
I'm not going anywhere, bitch.
Of
And
course,
then
we've seen the end of Halo 5. She's not going nowhere. She runs the world now.
And then you also have some fast start improvements as well. So it looks like more of a stability performance update, which I'm actually kind of looking forward to. You guys talk about this for a second. I
really hope it works out, man, because Dealer's right. The dashboard on the X is a clunky disaster now. I don't know what happened or exactly when, but when the X first launched, I was slipping and sliding on the butteriness on how fast and smooth that sucker was. Whereas right now, in comparison, I think it's a nightmare. I'm constantly hard rebooting my X to clear its memory cache, and even then, when it first comes on, there's like 60 seconds where it is trying hard to keep up with my inputs. So I really hope this does what has to be done.
I think it's because they grab it from the web applications. I think that's what is happening. I think that the dashboard is grabbing stuff from their web applications, that's slowing it down so it's not as native and fast and crisp as everybody wants it to be, crispy smooth as everybody wants it to be. So I think that's the problem, and I think that's what these updates are doing, is that they're moving it from that before the next consoles come out.
Just scrolling around on the dashboard itself is insane. It's like 5 or 6 button presses behind me when I'm just trying to scroll through my games. Like, it's not loading anything. It just won't accept my button presses a lot. And I can't stand it when that happens. So I just constantly hard reset when it does. And it does help right then and there. But after a while of it being on, it just gets clunky.
Well, it's pretty crazy how barren the actual dashboard is. If your internet actually goes down and you lose connection to Xbox Live, it's like 3 or 4 tiles. And like, where the fuck did everything go? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just wish we could remove them.
I've got a different. I mean, we could talk about the buggy dashboard all night and put everybody to sleep, but I've got something that'll actually segue into Dealer's next topic, because I don't think you have it on the list. But Micheal Pachter recently spoke out about Sony not going to E3. Did you guys read this?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. What did he say?
He basically said, if I don't know what they're spending on E3, if they spent $15 million, that's $15 million of advertising and marketing for your brand. And he says it's a gigantic, and I know it's funny because like he has no credibility, but like this is something we can all get on board with. He said that they're missing out on a huge opportunity to bring something to their fans, and they have plenty that they can talk about. No. And that's money well spent that should be spent.
I disagree. They don't have plenty they can talk about. They were very honest last year, and they said, "Hey, look, motherfucker, we got 4 games.
Hey, if The Last of Us and Death Stranding or Ghosts is not ready for 2019, you can still talk about it." They talked about those games 2016, 2017, and 2018. Like, I mean, you can't pretend like they don't exist because they're not ready for another year. That's not what Sony does.
They're pre-duck and low, all the shoes that would get thrown for the 3rd year in a row of seeing these games, and they know it. And if they know anything behind the scenes, if Xbox is really bringing the heat with all these studios and everything else, I think it's a smart move for them to just bow out and wait until they control the entire narrative. I mean, that's Sony's style, is wait until we can control every single thing about it, who's there, who's not, which media group is invited, who isn't. Like, it's just up Sony's bag to do something like this.
Yeah,
so I can see why they did it.
Pachter also said that their whole room-to-room thing and the theme rooms was a mess, and the whole industry and the people there and the critics agreed that the way that Sony presented 2018 was not well done, and he said they need to they have that.
Colt Eastwood, there's people out there that say Sony won E3, any of the E3s in the last couple of years, which is,
I mean, yeah, they did say that for 2018, which is really weird, you know. And they just turn around and say Microsoft just showed us all the games we're going to get. It's like, well, you're a gamer. Like, if you're buying games, if you're excited about the industry and what's coming, you should be excited about somebody who's going to get you the information and get you.
Well, Colt, I'm a flute enthusiast, and I find it offensive that you just said that, because I really enjoyed and the banjo too. I know
what kind of flute Zucker likes. That's what the difference.
Skin flute.
But that's Micheal Pachter for E3. But Dealer has something different that he said. It's even more outlandish.
Hang on a sec. Suicide King in Super Chat. What's going on, brother? Thank you so much. He says, "Happy New Year, guys. Do you think more third parties will market with Xbox because Sony is ditching E3? What do you think, D-Batch? Do you think that might be the case? I mean, they're the only game in town. You're going to see all of the biggest reveals of this year.
Yeah,
at Xbox's E3.
There's definitely going to be some lost opportunities there for sure. Especially, I think at E3 this year, I think Microsoft will probably unveil something next gen, at least an announcement of it, or a picture of it, or the console's final name, or something preparing for their 2020 launch. So and also too, I think this E3 with Sony not being there, all eyes are going to be on Microsoft. So of course these developers or these studios are going to want their game showcased, and since there's going to be no Sony there, all eyes are going to be on Microsoft. It makes sense for them to partner with Microsoft.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be similar to how it was the year before the Scorpion came out. I think, or the X. I think it's going to be them talking about like this is going to be the most powerful console. And that they're just going to hang their hat on it, talk about it a little bit with a couple developers, and then the next year, which is 2020, they're going to show it. Because they've talked about it and they've said, yeah, we're already developing it. So at this point, they're just going to talk about it.
He's not talking about systems. He wasn't asking about the systems, just third parties. And if you're asking me, I say this is one of the reasons why Sony got out. It was, I think Microsoft really opened up the checkbook big time and bought up as much as they could humanly get
when sales are down, right, Shady? Like everyone cares about sales. You and I have been like talking to people on social media and stuff about sales. Like they're waving the big banner, like sales matter. How many consoles do you sell? I'm like, what are sales doing for you? Like honestly, if you think that sales matter, Microsoft just spent so much money at a time when they didn't make as much in sales as perceived. Actually, right. Microsoft's money is up because they're doing Game Pass and Play Anywhere, and the Xbox and the X is selling really well, and games are selling really well on all the consoles. Like, it doesn't matter which one's in third place or first place. All these consoles are doing awesome. The games are coming because they have the money and the funds.
Protoss X says sales are king. So the Wii is the best console out right now. So good job, Protoss X. You killed yourself.
I mean,
you killed yourself.
Obviously, on a business standpoint, sales matter. But on a gaming standpoint, for me, if it's multiplayer, I'd like it to sell enough that I got people to play against. That's about as much as I give a damn. But I really do think that Microsoft bought up a lot of these third-party marketing deals, and that is a big reason why Sony didn't show up at E3s. They got no third-party. They have the same few games that we've all seen for a few years now, so they just didn't bother showing because Microsoft
I don't know about
hard.
That, I don't know if they bought them. I'm not saying. I think I agree with you. I think they have a lot of third-party deals, but like
I think
like Aaron Greenberg, I think it was, or Phil or somebody said that these third-party developers came up to them and be like, "Can we show our game on your stage?"
Oh, but beyond the reason, beyond the reasons, maybe they came up and begged Microsoft. I mean, let's
not
get real here. Microsoft gave them money. Microsoft gave them money to do it, and I'm pretty sure whether or not they wanted to or not, these companies are out for money, and Microsoft has a ton of it. I'm pretty sure they're throwing it around. The perception of the brand since the X has come out has shifted. It has become more positive. So it's a great time to start marketing the damn brand. And they have the money to do it. And it's been unleashed. Satya says, spend the money. So they are. They're buying studios. They're going to start marketing. And an easy way to market, very, very easy, is to buy up third-party deals and slap your brand on the front and the back of the commercials and put them out. That works like a charm. I argue with adults still today that Destiny 2 or Star Wars isn't Sony exclusive because they see the commercials. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not playing them at home. The point is that type of advertising works, and I think that Microsoft has really gone out and doubled or tripled down on the deals they were able to get, which left Sony with virtually nothing other than the same group of exclusive titles that they've already shown, and that's a big reason they left. So to answer the guy's question, oh yeah, these third-party deals are going to come to Microsoft. I think
sounds like you changed your tune a little bit on the marketing campaign there, bud.
No, not at all. They don't need to have spiderwebs hanging from fucking skyscrapers and painting goddamn subways red, allegedly. I don't need that. Just put commercials out. That's it. If there's a game to be marketed, you put a commercial showing the game footage, not live action, smoke and mirrors trash, game footage, and put Xbox in the front and back. Job done.
I don't even think these developers pay Microsoft to market half the time, because Aaron Greenberg confirmed that CD Projekt Red came to Microsoft and wanted to show their game on their stage last year. So
I'm sure they still were looking for a bit of cash as well. We'll also take a bit of money because Sony would have offered money.
No, I don't think
why though. It's just free advertising. Microsoft, they're paying for the venue, all the shit there, the set and everything.
No doubt, but we're also talking about a company that did their big reveal on Twitch and made almost $250,000 just on subscription fees.
That they charge
I'm just saying that they're looking for money. I don't think Microsoft is. They would have offered. Microsoft would have offered effort as well, I believe.
When CD Projekt Red wanted to show Cyberpunk, their trailer, they chose the Microsoft stage, and part of their thinking was probably that the Xbox One X would be the best looking console. PC doesn't have a E3 stage, so they chose Microsoft to show it.
Oh, I know.
And,
I'm just saying,
all they had to do was say, "Hey, can we show our game on your stage?" And they're hoping Microsoft will say yes, because
I know
all they have to do is just give them the file, and Microsoft is footing the bill.
I'm just saying, by choosing Microsoft, that choice could be as simple as we accept your less offer to market. Sony could have come in and said, we'll give you 80 million. And Microsoft said, we'll give you 40. And CD Projekt Red said, we'll take the 40 because we'd rather be with Xbox.
According to Aaron
and
Greenberg,
we'll take the money.
They didn't pay anything. So
okay. Hey, there we go.
I'm going to go with Aaron Greenberg.
No, that's cool.
And I'm also going to thank over 600 people watch us live. Guys, hit that like button. Let's try to get up to 300 for the end of the show. We do appreciate it. Thanks and shout out to the chat. We've got some. Speaking of Michael Pachter,
that's why I put that in there so you can segue.
He's talking about 240 FPS on the next Xboxes, and like I said, my video about it. Even if he's talking about VR, that's still kind of irrational. It's not needed, and it's kind of insane. And I've already seen some stuff behind the scenes, confirming that no, he didn't get that from any credible source. It's Michael Pachter, people. It's Michael Pachter. So, I mean, he was credible earlier when we were talking about, that's a $15 million marketing investment that he said they're missing out on to their fans, that their fans would have enjoyed. He was right up until the point where he said they got things to show, because Sony has already admitted that we have 4 games this year where we showed you all 4 of those. 2 of those came out. We got 2 games left this whole generation, and 2 of those may be cross-gen titles, right? 2 or 3 games. So they don't have much to show you. They don't want to show you a whole lot because they don't want to spoil the games for you, right? I don't want to see a ton of Last of Us 2. I don't want to see a crap ton of Ghost of Tsushima. I don't like seeing that over and over. Every single time Sea of Thieves came out on the stage, I was like, fuck, more of this. I don't want the same shit over and over. I never want to see Minecraft on stage again.
Yep.
So if you keep doing that, it gets old and it loses its luster. And half of those games they had came out, and they don't have much more going right now. So they got a ton of stuff coming up. But right now, these 3 big titles, well, Days Gone, it's rumored it could get delayed again. But Days Gone, you got Ghost of Shiitake Mushrooms, you got Last of Us 2, and then you got Death Stranding. So you got those 4 games, and one Days Gone, it's like no one gives a shit about that game. But then again, that's all preference. I don't know, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. They're very kind of limited for the rest of the generation for 2 years now. I'm thinking some of these to be cross-gen.
I just don't see Days Gone doing bad. I think it's going to be great. I really have this weird. I don't know. I don't know why people are thinking it's not going to do well. Even the Sony guys that are really only play on a Sony console are like, it doesn't look that great. I'm like,
Colt. There's been hands-on guys have walked away saying this needs work. It's not good. And that was when all these delays and everything else started coming out. We've also heard that Sony ran away screaming from multiplayer aspect of the game. I mean, graphics-wise, it looks great, but I think it just looks so generic. I don't know what to say. And then calling the zombies freakers, I'm fucking out. I'm out. That is so tacky. That is the worst name for kind of a zombie thing. The freakers are coming. The freakers.
They should have called them the fuckers. The fuckers are coming.
Oh, it's rough. That game's going to have a hard time, I think. It's not going to stand up to the quality that the other Sony games have come.
I don't know, bro. Sony Ben don't have the pedigree of some of these other studios. I will say that. That doesn't mean they can't make a great game. Right,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Colt, I would agree with you, but I actually starting to agree with Shady because when they first showed that game at that lumber mill, it was amazing. Like, it looked cool. Like, I was actually like, man, this is one of the reasons I'm going to get a PlayStation later on, and it was really cool. But it's one of the one of the games that as it kept showing more and more, I was like, this looks really bad. It's starting to look really rough around the edges. The animations are even in controlled environment of like showing the media something. There was glitches. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is a controlled environment that you're showing us, and there's already glitches.
And remember, that game really was already supposed to be out.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And, even that, they didn't even show it on E3. They didn't show it at their stage on E3, Colt. Like, that's when I was like, Jesus.
Yeah,
like,
why didn't they? I don't understand
because it's rough. It's
they
rough.
Didn't show GT Sport that year on stage either, though.
You can grab 45 seconds. You can grab 45 seconds of your game that doesn't look rough and like build a really nice turret. Anybody can do that.
They all have noses, but they can smell the shit a mile away.
The freakers are coming.
That's
I
right.
smell the freakers. I'm just gonna start calling all zombies freakers.
The main character from Days Gone is the guy that played Starkiller from Force Unleashed. So it it could have some really good stuff. I don't know. We'll just see.
Yeah, it is his face. Now that you
Yeah.
mention it,
I can't remember his name.
I didn't notice.
I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's really cool. He's aged. We've all gotten old. Yeah.
Well, all this bad talk about the freakers is making some of the freakers mad. So.
Stop saying that word. I can't.
Yeah,
It's
the
so
freakers.
stupid.
But somebody in the chat said a second ago, they said, do you guys really think that, what does Xbox have to show this year? Ha 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 ha.
Like, well, they do have Crackdown 3. I don't like that. All right, I don't like Gravity Rush. Shut the fuck up about Gravity Rush. Well, they do have Ori. I don't like that. All right, I don't like Persona. Shut the fuck up about that. Like, we can always do that. We can go that route forever, right? Like, just because you're not interested in Crackdown does not mean it's not a game coming out this year that a lot of people might be interested in, or it has its fans, right? Yep. So Crackdown 3, you do have Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I don't like that. All right, well, don't talk about Dead Cells, so you got Ori, and then you got Gears 5, and then Matt Booty at XO said that you may hear about some. Well, no, he said you will hear about some of these new studio games very soon. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So we may hear about even more stuff. And keep in mind we do have Battletoads as well. I don't like that. All right, shut the fuck up. So once more, there are games coming. You may not like some of them, but I don't like a lot of games on the other platform. But I don't pretend like they're not games that aren't coming out, right? So
yeah,
it is what it is. I mean, hell, this year alone, somebody could have said Battlefield 5 is coming out. Somebody would be like, I don't like that. All right, well, shut the fuck up. I don't care. I'm looking forward to it, right? So it's the same logic. Just because you may not be looking forward to something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Turn that around and use it on yourself. It doesn't work very well, right? You got to use that logic on yourself.
Nothing beats Concrete Genie.
No, nothing at all beats Concrete Genie. Not even this developer D-Batch. Let's get you up and whatever the fuck you're doing in the background. But get you talking here for a second.
D's actually playing games with me on Xbox while you guys are talking.
Well, this Hellpoint developer is talking about split memory on consoles, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. So the developer, this is the rule that PlayStation would be breaking, according to Review Tech USA. If they did this, it's the first for console, and it's actually not gonna happen. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard a developer say. I would actually stand by that, considering it's an APU. Good luck, and it would be very expensive to do, and they'd have to change up everything that they do on console today just to try to split the memory. And you don't even need this much RAM on half the consoles that are coming out anyway. But long story short, this developer says that the PS5, the next consoles, basically will have split memory, not a combined pool like they do today. So right now you have 12 gigs of GDDR5 on the Xbox One X. 9 of that is for games. 3 of that is for the OS and whatever you're doing in the background. He's saying that you'll have 2 separate pools of memory, kind of like the PlayStation 3. If you guys recall, that was actually an issue on the PS3 that developers had. The memory was not unified. And especially for an APU, that kind of stuff is not it's not going to fly. So he says there'll be 8 gigabytes of VRAM in these new consoles and 8 gigabytes of system memory for a combined total of 16 gigabytes of RAM. D-Batch, lay it on us.
Fake news.
Fake news.
That's all I gotta say about this one. Like,
Shut down the government.
Unless the PlayStation 5 is gonna be a content creator's console, like, come on, man. Like, it just makes no sense. It's not gonna happen. He's talking out of his ass. It's fake news to me, to be honest with you.
So this is, and keep in mind that for an APU, that's just it's not gonna happen. No, like especially in APU. So just because someone's a developer does not mean that some guys just put plants on the fucking ground. They're an artist, for instance, right? They're not the tech, and we're not developers either. But we do know better than to say that a console is gonna have split memory. Like that again. Like that's just absolutely ridiculous.
You think why would Sony do that to developers again after it was so hard for developers to create on the PlayStation 3? And this was part of the reason, of course, the cell processor as well. And why would you go back in time and do this again? It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Mhm.
I don't know why the dev is saying that. Like, is he a developer that just creates games, or is he like a double E, like over there? Sorry, electrical engineer. Like, does he understand how it is to a
No one
mechanical
knows.
engineer?
No
Like,
one
he's
knows.
just talking out of his ass.
It's like I've developed a couple maps in Doom Snap Map and some liveries in Forza. Am I allowed to start spreading rumors about the next gen? I've developed content, people. Like you guys said, this guy could be a plant artist for all we know. I mean, a developer doesn't crown the person with all-encompassing knowledge as to what's coming. So, huge rumor. And I like how you tech guys just came in and was kind of like, yeah, no, it doesn't sound good. Didn't work before. I don't want that coming in now if that's the case.
Yeah.
And the more interesting thing is why would these consoles split or non-split? Why would they need 16 gigs of RAM? I really think the next gen consoles, I think they're going to be 12.
Don't you get that? Isn't that funny, D? How you hear people say 16 gigs of RAM? I had that in my PC 2 years ago. It's like, yeah, this is
I
not
had that
a
in my
PC.
PC in 2011.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a P. You know what I mean? I'm talking. This is like what tons of
I'm
people
just
say.
saying.
I'm Soccer's like, look how big mine is.
No, I'm just saying. I think if it's 12 gigabytes of RAM, that's a fail to me. I want it to be 16 or above because the X already has 12. So
yeah, I mean, I mean, the rumor is 16 gigs or whatever, 12 to
also
16.
keep
But
in
I
mind
mean,
that
honestly,
we're not taking a resolution. We're not taking a resolution jump anymore, though, right?
I
No.
don't think they need 16. Just for the cost, I just don't think they need 16.
no, and it's a console. You're not doing TurboTax while you're playing a game and surfing the internet.
Well, you got to understand the operating system, right? That's running behind. In the beginning,
Yeah.
when the X came out, 8 gigs was, I think 7 or 8 gigs were stored for just gaming. And the 4 or 5 remaining were for the system. And developers asked Xbox, hey, can you get it to 9? And Mike Ybarra and his team got it to 9. And they said, yeah.
They compromised the dashboard, apparently. They said,
Yeah, well, that's why you need more gigs, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so much shit. This is like a PC.
Well,
app.
But you have to remember, too,
the
though,
dash-
is that with the next consoles, with the low-end lockhart, you're looking at more 1080p, 1440p, most likely, because we've heard some new things. Can't talk about it, but basically, you're looking at maybe 1080p 60 FPS, 1440p 60 FPS. If you want to do 4K 30 in some games, depending on what type of game it is, yes, you'll be able to do that as well with the lower end one. And maybe some other games at 4K 60, depending on how demanding they are. But you're looking at similar performance to the X. So you definitely don't need more RAM than the X. You're not going to be doing much more. But with the high-end model, I wouldn't rule that out at maybe being 16 gigabytes or something like that. But at the end of the day, keep in mind also that we're staying at 4K. You don't need a massive jump in RAM because the frame buffer is one of the biggest consumers of RAM. But if developers decide to start implementing new textures and better textures and stuff, then these consoles got to last for another 8 years. So it may be a good idea to perhaps think ahead and maybe bump it up to at least 14.
I would say 16 is that hit spot, man. Because if you look at Shadow the Tomb Raider, a game that we were like a lot of you, I haven't played it yet. Can't wait. I got it, and I've heard a lot of people go like, "Man, it's amazing." It's the benchmark when it came out. That was like minimum you needed 8 gigs of RAM, and then the recommended is 16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, which is kind of weird because that all depends on your VRAM. If the game uses your VRAM, it doesn't even spill out in your system RAM. But some people might be like 14 gigs of RAM. That doesn't really work out. I can't get that on my PC. And keep in mind that the PS4 Pro has 9 gigs of RAM, and one of those is just GDR3 or whatever, DDR3. So it's got 1 gig of that and 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 and 9 gigs of RAM total on the PS4 Pro. So they can do little custom things, to give it a little more here or there, and they've already done that with GPU architecture as well.
I'd like to say this though: the next generation Xbox, I want to see a simplified dashboard. In honesty, I used to make fun of the PlayStation dashboards. Oh, it's the same like last generation, but you know what? It's very efficient. It's fast.
I've always liked it.
It gets to the point real quick. Like we were talking earlier in the podcast, the Xbox is so slow and sluggish. I got to go like 3 clicks just to do one thing. Like simplify it. I don't.
There's too many ways to get to one place.
Oh, I like that. I just want to go fast. Just make it fast and keep it the same way. I love the dashboard the way it looks and operates now. Just make it fast, damn it.
The problem with that, Shady, is you have to use muscle memory to, even if the dashboard is running lightning quick, you have to use muscle memory to get in and around the Xbox. Someone picks up the controller and says, "Hey, how do you get through this thing?" You're like, "Oh, you got to click this, then that, move this, click that, move this."
It's not much like from anywhere in the dash. If you push the Y button and type in what you're looking for, whether it's a game you own or something in the store or a movie to rent, any of it all pops up. Like, it's so simple.
Again, you're working with a controller, so when you hit Y, you have to move your controller toggle. It's called click to buy. So that's like something that I actually work on professionally. So that's what it is. And they do need to fix that. And if they are going to fix it, you should keep an eye out, D, for like user testing or basically looking for people like in the preview program around maybe end of next summer for the next consoles. If they want to get it out, it seems like they've tried getting out these dashboards before the new console comes out. I think they did that with the X. They changed a few things on the S and the regular Xbox and then tested it and brought it out on the X when it launched. So keep an eye on that, but they do need to they do need to keep it a lot more simple because it is a little cluttered, especially the home menu. Everything else on the top is great, but when you hit the Xbox button, there is a lot of options and a lot of things that they can simplify on it. So that's what they need to do is get that, like it's called click to buy, but you're not buying something, but it's click to your destination.
Hire Zocker to do this. Like I've talked to Zocker about this dashboard so much. I would really love for Microsoft to just bring Zocker in for a month and just have him fix the dashboard. What I like about the PlayStation, I've always liked the PlayStation dashboard. Everything is from left to right. It's a linear interface. It's straightforward. I wish Microsoft would move toward. They used to have it with 360. It was the diagonal, like
messages from a game or see anything from a game, then it kicks you out of the game. You know, like
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean. Yeah, Noof says it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I don't know. I'm not a fan.
You know, in the next Xbox dashboard, do not rob me of a single goddamn feature or thing you spent 5-6 years working on.
Oh my God!
And only add to that or keep it the fucking same if you have to, and update it later. Because you know, at the beginning of this generation, we didn't have friends notifications or anything like none of that.
Oh my gosh,
so
yeah.
I just don't want to go backwards. If they got to keep the same UI and actually increase the size of your update team. Because there's no way the system should be running as slow as it is. It does go faster if you put it in the 1080p mode, but for some reason my OLED will not actually pick up the 1080p signal sometimes, so I'm kind of stuck in the 4K mode.
How did we get back on the interface?
I don't even know.
Well, because I brought up the RAM. I brought up the RAM and how.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We do got to give a shout out to everybody watching this, guys. Hit that like button. Just look below the titles, little thumbs up. Give that little finger bang. Just finger bang that little thumbs up. It's not hard. It really does help the show. Before we kind of wrap it all up with Brad Sams, kind of alluding that the stream box for the $100 stream box for the next Xbox may not even be a thing. There are reports going both ways on this, and I'd like to know, chat, if you think this is going to be a thing. Keep in mind the Project Maverick or whatever. That's the discless Xbox. It's rumored to be debuted this month. Don't tell anybody. That will definitely be a thing, most likely, according to him. And if that's the case, that thing's already going to be like $150, 200 max. I mean, 200 is still too much, I think, honestly, for something with no disk drive. And, you know, that's the reason it even exists, is to get the price down, to get more people buying Xboxes. But, you know, they could probably sell that to you for 150. There's not much difference between that and a stream box for $100. You know, what's the point of a little stream box existing?
I've always kind of felt that the stream box is already sitting on all of our desks or in entertainment centers. It's already the Xbox and the X and the S. I like the Switch is streaming in Japan. It's nothing crazy that they're doing. They're just allowing it over there. And the Switch isn't anything amazing itself either. So why can't the Xboxes now stream games? Why not? If the xCloud is a thing and it's going to stream to any device, how is your Xbox you own today not at any device?
Well, you're looking at it. You're looking at it as, well, if I might be misinterpreting you, but you're looking at it as people that already own consoles. I think they want the stream stick to be for masses, the mass people.
Yeah, that's for everyone else that hasn't purchased the console. I'm saying if you already have an Xbox, I think you're going to be able to partake in this Xbox streaming thing. I think that's
of course you will.
So right, if you got day one Xbox, the fat VCR, you can stream with xCloud to it. I'm not confirming that, but I think that's how it's going to work. So this whole streaming console, if you will, I think was just another SKU with no disc, like Dealer just said, that's going to be cheap for new customers, not necessarily established customers, if you will. But yeah, it makes sense to me that it's not actually maybe a thing because we already kind of
it was to not have to spend all the money on a bunch of RAM and a GPU, a hefty GPU like a console, and just sell you kind of a CPU. A little box like one of those more hefty Roku boxes that would be a similar price point to those, because people buy Apple TVs for $100, right? I want to stream 4K content. They spend $100 just to do that. Microsoft's logic, according to this leak, would be that, hey, we're going to sell you this for $100 or maybe a little more. It's not going to have all the expensive parts, just a CPU to help with the local low latency tasks, and we can get down to around $100.
That's right. I think at the time they released this thing, the S could be damn near down there, especially if they pull out that 4K Blu-ray drive as well. They can get the price of just the Xbox S with no disc almost down to about 150 bucks,
like,
don't you
there's
think?
not much difference between 1 and 150. JT Gamer, what's going on, brother?
No, my point is that the components of that discless S are the same components that are in everyone else's S. So everyone who owns an Xbox has a streaming box already. So
yeah. Hey, Mike D in the chat says, do you think retailers will fight against selling the discless Xbox? No, I do not. They already sell a ton of just digital code. That's what they're selling a lot of now, like Walmart.
It is.
Like they're selling these digital codes now. Instead of the games, they just hang up these pieces of, whatever, the code papers, and you go grab one, you scan it, and you bought the code digital.
It is. I've seen lots of stores of that.
Costco's doing it too. Yeah.
Yeah, they get a big cut with that too. I mean, if you go to Best Buy, there's just like a whole wall dedicated to just digital copies of games, movies, whatever.
I hear this new
in iTunes.
I think the stores actually, they love it because it's so much less shelf space and storing space for them. They just have a box of basically Visa cards that are digital games. I've already seen stores where they don't sell physical anymore. They do sell just these digital codes for you.
And it helps against theft. People get those things and go home with it, and it's like, oh, go fuck yourself.
That's right. It's not activated. Exactly. Like, I think that the retail is going to embrace this this physical-less future that's coming. I really do.
And I think once they get rid of is it GameStop in the States, or it's GameStop. Once they get rid of GameStop, I think we'll see digital prices start to drop down as well.
Yep. And keep in mind going forward, and this is what a lot of people, like especially on Twitter, have to remember, this is Microsoft do not give 2 squirts of piss where you play their games. Like a cell phone, your TV, your Xbox, your PC, they do not care. They just
you're gonna hear a lot of people say, well, if I can buy Halo Infinite on a PC, why do I need to buy an Xbox?
What we're saying, I'm gonna interrupt this motherfucker right now and say the same shit.
But like the argument's always the same though. PC players are PC players, and console players are most likely just console players. So why would you limit yourself just to the the console, where you have the PC landscape where there's millions and millions of potential buyers out there? Financially, it makes no sense.
Yeah,
I don't want to be limited.
Bob Beast just said, Mike Ybarra says he's excited for Halo on PC. Yes, because he's a PC gamer. And like, it's funny that people, they act like people are going to jump to PC just to avoid an Xbox. They don't. Console gamers will always buy a console, and they'll play where they want to play. Yeah. And Microsoft doesn't care where you play. Like Ybarra just said on Twitter a couple days ago, he said, I'm tired of this PC versus Xbox nonsense. He says, we're Microsoft. We make games for both platforms.
Yeah.
And he means he wants you to buy the game and play them where you want. And those people that don't want to play on a PC will not go build a PC.
And I'm sorry, with the streaming and being on your tablet or something, like, I don't know if you guys ever had like a layover at an airport where you're stuck for like 7 hours. Like, I would kill to just bust out my controller, bust out my iPad or whatever, and just play some fucking games through their Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah,
like, I don't want to. I don't want to be boxed in. I don't. I really don't. I don't get why people talk that.
That's the problem, Zocker. That's what's going on. Like this Bob Beast keeps saying stuff like that. He's like, well, Ybarra is pushing the X, but he's talking about playing on the PC. I mean, I don't understand why it's so hard for him to understand. Ybarra plays mostly on the PC. He works in the Xbox division. He's pushing his product. He's pushing his hardware. He's pushing his software. He's like, well, he's not pushing his hardware hard enough. It's like, why are people championing one place where they can play? Like on PlayStation, you can only get the game on PlayStation. That's not a bragging right. That's a restriction.
It's not. And look at it, like, to compare it, another way is, do the people want Sony Pictures to start making all their movies exclusive only to Sony fucking Blu-ray players? Is that what people want? Like, no. As soon as you even think of that with movies, everyone's like, that's insane. Why would you fucking do that? Why do we allow it? Why do we stand for it in video games? Just because Nintendo brought back and saved the industry in the early 80s and made exclusives a goddamn thing doesn't mean that it has to be perpetuated in this industry forever. It is anti-consumer. It's anti-consumer. Not everyone can buy the games and use them on the systems they enjoy the most.
I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say it's just anti-consumer, but it's becoming archaic because Sony has just started to hire people to put all their games on any device.
I know. It's becoming a thing to multiplats. It's anti-consumer compared to Ubisoft. They release Far Cry and you can buy it anywhere.
Yeah.
Sony or Microsoft releases a game, it's like you can only buy it over here. So compared, it's anti-consumer.
Why does everybody forget the price of admission to PC though? Everyone acts like PC is like really cheap to be in that ecosystem. You want a good, decent PC, you're spending at least $1,000. You want to play, you know, the
Way
top
more than
console games, you're paying half the price.
That's a lie, D. I got a Pentium rig that'll run circles around everything.
Well, I just got
Right.
D, let me tell you, because I didn't explain to you, D, I just spent $1,000 on a pre-build, and pre-builds are really affordable compared to building your own. They're not bad right now. And Zucker, stop. I just opened that thing to try to change something, and I was having problems with the pre-build. But anyway, the GPU that came with that $1,000 build is like under the power of an Xbox One X, and it's a $1,000 PC. But it's got a really great processor. It's got really good RAM. You know, it's like all this stuff. But
Hey,
Kate Tucker says,
I want to know what Noof Nukem thinks about Mike Ybarra's comments about because this just happened not long ago, right? We didn't get to cover this. Mike Ybarra, he had a little story to tell on Twitter, and some PC radical was saying that this just in, things that didn't really happen. And Mike Ybarra said, well, I should have just told her to have fun at E3 or some shit, right? Noof, did you see all that? And Noof's dead.
I certainly did, and Twitter certainly saw it. It was hilarious. I hear there's like petitions by ponies trying to get Mike Ybarra fired because no executive should talk that way and all this other jazz. Meanwhile, we got Sony commercials going, this is how you trade and share games on our platform. Fuck them. This is how you do it. This is the way Sony has done it. It's cutthroat. It's cutthroat.
What do you mean?
I think it's hilarious.
No executive supposed to. Well, why did Yoshida say no one wants to play Blu-ray 720p? 1080p makes you a better gamer. Like,
that's right. It's only because it's coming out of Xbox now is why all of a sudden it's a bad thing. Guys, we're bringing up the Polygon article with the Anaconda don't want none garbage. Like, that's the same. Polygon presents itself as a news outlet that is unbiased and is here to give you all gaming news. Xbox isn't held to that standard. They're there to fucking talk about Microsoft and Xbox.
They need to talk more shit, honestly.
Pretty much, they do. They need to talk more shit and stop congratulating these other guys on games well done. Less of that and more a little bit of snark. It's funny, especially when the Sony executives don't touch Twitter. They got nothing. Again, no defense from Sony. No E3, no Twitter execs, nothing. They got nothing.
I might be wrong. Did they congratulate during the Spider-Man release?
Yes, of course they did.
Yeah,
they did.
Okay. I don't know. I like the healthy competition. I like the banter back and forth. You know, he's not threatening to show up at anybody's house or anything like that. You're gonna want to talk about your product and put your product in the best light, obviously. And Microsoft, they don't do this enough. They're always kumbaya. So I like this attitude. We see it in sports all the time. These guys trash talk each other. When they get off the court, they're off the court and they're cool. When they're on the court and they're competing, it is what it is, man.
When Mikey doubled down, the original tweet was, I was wearing an Xbox shirt and the clerk had said, oh, you're an Xbox fan? I like PlayStation. And Mike had responded with something like, yeah, we all make mistakes from time to time. Yeah. Something like that, right? And someone called him out like, and this just in another event that did not happen. And Mike responded with, yeah, you're right. I actually said, I'll see you at E3. Boom! I loved it, man. I loved it. And I want to see more of it.
I'll see you at E3.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
We are going to E3 this year. So
he said have fun at E3. Yeah.
Right. Whether he did any of it in real life or not, it doesn't matter. It's funny. It's a little bit of advertising. It's poking a little bit at the competition. It got people talking. That's for damn sure.
You know what it really did? It really showed how angry people are that they're not going to be there. That's what it did. It showed how mad the fans are. And the fans are like, well, they don't need to go. They've done so long that it doesn't matter. I'm still confident. Well, now you look like a fucking scared little bitch.
You're right, man. It did. It exposed the fact that they're not going, and it really does upset the guys that wanted them there.
And it has to upset them. It's bullshit because, I'm more or less neutral per se.
All look forward to it.
Xbox is my platform of choice, but I'm bummed out that Sony's not going to be there. I want to see what they have to show.
Yeah. Everybody wants to see what their platform is going to show at E3. And I don't know. I don't think they're really acting like they, that it's okay. I think they're just making excuses.
Like last E3 when they showed Last of Us 2, that's what we were talking about, how phenomenal that game looked. And when that French developer came out and said, those are fake animations, we were calling that dude a crackhead, because we all thought that game looked amazing. And, no matter what system it's on, it's still really like I don't have Star Citizen on my Xbox. I can play it on my PC, but you know, it's unfinished a game as that is, right? And apparently, it's the alpha is not even going to be out until 2020. Like that game's just fucked. But basically, no matter what platform it's on, if it looks really cool, like we're all gamers. It's the best hobby in the world, right? So we're all going to talk about it. And Sony now have cut half of that out. This E3 should still be pretty epic with maybe the Avengers game debuted, the new Batman game debuted, stuff like that. Hopefully, I don't know, and maybe it'll all be on the Xbox stage. It's all looking pretty good. But we got to get out of here, guys. It's kind of a long show. We do appreciate you guys rocking out with us. Hit that like button on your way out as we do some outros. Big shout out to the Patreon sponsors. Just gave away a couple games on Patreon, and many more to come. So check that link down below if you want to become a sponsor and all that good stuff. What's
Kingslayer?
Oh my god! Oh my god! I just saw that. Yeah, let's leave it.
King. We'll leave it, but that's just funny.
Yeah. So thank you guys for rocking out with us. Over 600 people watching live tonight. First show of the year. We do appreciate it. Colt Eastwood, bud, what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
Everything. I just completely finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I didn't know. I thought I was done. I went and killed all the cultists, which is really actually part of the full game and lets you unlock the full ending, which is amazing. Just finished Doom and a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, I'm going to be working on a video about the games coming up for next year, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. Zalker, but what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
I've been playing Far Cry 5. I've been playing some Rocket League, and I think I'm going to start the Edith Finch one. I think I'm going to do that. And yeah, I'm going to try to get those games done. And after that, I think I'm going to go Tomb Raider because I haven't played it yet. But yeah, you guys can find me at Zalker87 and go to my channel, Zalker87. I have a video in the works to be coming out tomorrow. I'm looking forward to people seeing that. I'm going to get a lot of hate for it on the Sony side. So keep an eye out for that shit. I'm just saying.
So Shady, where can people find you? What have you been playing?
People can find me on Twitter at the Sesh Empire. That's one word, by the way. And I've been playing an absolute boatload of Battlefield 5 still. I'm max rank online, just unlocked all the gold pieces for my Sten gun. I'm taking names out there, boys. It's damn good. And then on the indie scene, I just beat What Remains of Edith Finch last night in one sitting. It was out there. I had a damn good time with it, though. I recommend it. On sale now, 50% off. I also played Cube 2, which was free with gold last month, and was really impressed with it. Portal-esque, a good puzzler. I'm having a good time. Achievements are falling out of it. And what else? I started the first Metro again, actually, on the X, and it looks and plays fantastic in my mind. I can't wait to get right into her.
Good shit. D-Batch, bud, where can people find you? What have you been playing?
You can find me at Twitter at D_Batch and at YouTube at DBatch. And I've been playing a lot of Spider-Man and God of War. I'm trying to clear those games, trying to get through this backlog of games through this holiday season. So yeah, I've been doing that. I threw up a video yesterday on the PlayStation 5 having ray tracing. And I got to say to you guys, there's going to be some really good tech news coming out this week. We're going to have some good console news and some good television news. So stay tuned to my channel later on this week.
I had so many people like just not watching my whole video yesterday about ray tracing and saying the same shit that I already addressed in the video. So I just spent a lot of that time just ignoring comments, not really people that we see in the chat here often, but random people like asking questions that I literally addressed like at minute 4. Like,
I gotta say this, not all channels are the same. So, you got to look at the title and then you got to watch the video. The title doesn't always say everything that's in the video. You need you need to dissect the video properly. Watch the video. We put time into this content, people. So please.
Yeah. And I have to say that me and Dealer, since we weren't here last week, we've been playing Gears of War on Horde 60 frames. Oh my god.
Yeah,
so if you guys haven't played it, jump on your X and play it. The game looks fucking amazing and it's so fun.
Yeah. But Dee's right. There is a lot of time. I spent I spent like an hour and a half on that damn thumbnail alone, building that PlayStation 5 with the glass, looking at that thumbnail. Like it takes a lot of time and effort to put into that stuff. And, it's
he's not exaggerating.
It's less the hardcore guys like those in the chat now. Of course, most all of you guys check that shit out, but it's random people that you'll never see in this chat. And that's the annoying thing about it. Well, it's extremely demanding on the PC. I address that. Well, this isn't the full high quality. I address that. Like, it's you know, same shit I talked about. It's shit's 10 minutes for a reason, right?
Yeah,
so-
it's the fault of the YouTube culture. Like, people jump onto a video, they look at the title, as soon as they hit play, they go right down to the comment section, start reading and writing. And that's the big deal. Like, the reading and writing is, I mean, it's not a joke. When you're reading other people's comments and then they're formulating what they want to say, they're not listening to the video. I get so many people that say the same thing like Dealer said, like, what about this? Like, I talk about it in two minute 38 seconds. Like, I mean, I take like 5 or 6 hours to make these videos for us sometimes, you know? And like, people are just, that's just how it is. It's unfortunate.
There's very few people that I would say represent the Xbox community, honestly. So we try to put some time and at least a little bit of hypothesis into some of these videos and try to get the right information out there. We're very few people out there trying to get positive, proper information out there about like Xbox 2 and how great that's going to be and some of the things that are coming. And we do it because we are big fans of the platform, you know. So once again, guys, thank you guys. Like I said, you guys are the best of the best. It's mainly just the random dudes in the chat that don't really check shit out and like my last video, for instance, but a lot of people did too. So we do appreciate it. Even if you just checked out some of it, at least you did that. So once more, we got to get out of here. I've been playing Odyssey as well. And I just got the final cult member as well, which is a massive tier, like side mission tier. You don't got to do it. It doesn't unlock like the full ending, I wouldn't say. Like it's like in addition, more context, I guess. But I wouldn't say that it's like some other games where the ending's locked off behind a bunch of crap and you're really missing out. Like, it's cool though. It really did make
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. And Noof is finally back, bud. Where you been?
I have no fucking, I don't know, man. I got to figure this out, and I do apologize because I didn't realize it was going to be a bit of an issue until I, you know, got the link to go on the show, and I tried testing a few things, and you don't really know, right? So, but anyway, I'll figure it out before the next time I jump on a podcast. Like I said, I just got this new laptop for Christmas, and by in all purposes, it should be a hell of a lot better for streaming and doing these things than I had in the past. But I'm still having some technical difficulties. Maybe I need to buy an audio splitter or some fucking shit because it's only got one audio jack on it, which means it's just for headphones and not for the mic. So that's what I got to figure out is how this fucking thing.
You do sound a lot better, man.
It's got
you sound a lot better.
Buy a mic that's got a headphone jack in the mic. That's the way to get around it.
You're sounding better, and you made it back just in time to give us your intro, bro.
Yeah. What have you been playing? Where do people find you?
Outro.
Well, I just restarted Wolfenstein: The New Colossus because that was one of the best games I bought last year that I never got around to finishing. So that is an amazing experience, and it looks just so good on the X. I just got back into a few different PlayStation games as well, playing Spider-Man, God of War, picked up the PSVR over Christmas. Again, yes, for the second time. Astrobot Rescue Mission, phenomenal experience. If you're into VR, if you're not, I guess nothing's going to change your mind, but I like it. So, yeah, I've just been playing a bunch of different things, man, having a good time. And got some exciting news to share with people a little bit later on this week, but I got to keep it on the wraps for now.
Drop the news now. Drop the news now.
Yeah. So
tell us your news. Give it to us.
All I can say is I'm gonna be on a new podcast pretty soon here, but can't say any more than that.
Things are sprouting up like daisies. That's good, man. So thanks for coming on, man. Hopefully next time your fucking mic works. I did call on you a couple times, and I figured you were having more issues, but it is.
But I do have a message here.
Say what?
Ybarra, and I just wanted to say, guys, that you know, these people take shit way too seriously. You can't even go into a grocery store and make a little joke anymore. It's hilarious. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, do I gotta come to your house and smack you around with that stupid PlayStation controller? I don't know, man. What the hell is wrong with people? But just enjoy your freaking games. Xbox rules.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, fake Mike Ybarra. We do appreciate it. And once more, like I said, if you're curious about the ray tracing thing, I remember that topic and we've already been going long. So I did cover like exactly what that is. I literally show not just in Gran Turismo, but show several games running ray tracing on, off, explain what it is, and then reference other material that explains it differently. And I had several comments saying I finally understand what ray tracing actually is after this video. So if you're curious about that, or if they could run it and have different modes and blah, 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 you know, I do address all that too. So check all that out. But once more, guys, we do appreciate it. We are out.
Sign up twice.
Later.
I signed up twice.